guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. For those of you who may or may not already know, my name is Alex, aka Yellowberry.
I'm like, damn, you so fine, girl, what is your sign? She say I'm a Sagittarius, I'm a Capricorn, the beginning and end. I got a friend for your friend, hey, I'm making all of this money to spend. Deal stores buying.
Wait, I don't bite.
And for today's video, as you can see by the title, we have a very special guest here by the name of Stacey. Hi guys! Stacey is my doula. I try to keep her like under wraps throughout my pregnancy, but sometimes I will slip and say her name. Sometimes I'll say the doula, but whatever. Stacey is here and she's going to answer lots of your questions. But before we get into all of that, I definitely want to give Stacey a big shout out and a big thank you for holding me down. When did we meet? Like when I was how many weeks?
You were 30 weeks, if that. No, 27.
Yeah, but I think I was like in the 20s. So
27 weeks.
Stacey wasn't with me my entire pregnancy. If y'all watched my doula video, I believe that's where I explained like the process of how to get a doula, and Stacey blew it out the park. So how do you feel like the birthing experience was? We never spoke about that.
I honestly think Alex's birth was, not to toot her own horn, but I would say it was perfect. But you know, anything perfect still has its own imperfections.
Like it was humanly perfect.
Yes, as she stated in all her previous videos, yes, I watch Alex's videos. Wow. She didn't really have a lot of problems. The most problems she had was low iron, and that was something as her doula, as well as Alex taking the initiative, we went ahead and fixed naturally, so she didn't have to worry about taking any medicine. And then as far as her labor and actual delivery and birth of her baby girl, I feel like everything went perfect. We practiced, we prepped, and when it was go time, it went as planned. And that's not always the case. Right. So that's why I think it's perfect.
And I explained in another video that like everything we practiced, we didn't even have to do because like my labor was just so quick. And I also do want to apologize because I was being a bitch.
It's okay. You were laboring.
Let's jump into these questions with Stacey. So, first things first. Somebody asked, what is a doula?
So, a doula, I'm going to paraphrase, but a doula is pretty much someone who provides emotional, mental, and any form of other type of support that the person needs. Mainly educational support, because we're now informing you because it's more to having a baby than just delivering the baby. But the actual preparation of having this child, the questions you should be asking at your appointments, the things if you're uncomfortable about, all of those little things that may come up as a red flag to you that you're uncomfortable or not too sure how to go about going through with it, that's where the doula comes in, and we go ahead and assist you to the best of our abilities while still remaining respectful.
And one quick little story time. Stacey, I felt like she was like my pregnancy mom. So I told Stacey that I did not feel comfortable with a specific midwife at the center. Nothing crazy happened. I just didn't feel comfortable with that specific person. And Stacey's like, what's their name? I can call them right now and make sure that she's not there when you deliver. And I'm just like, oh my. I'm like, all right, Stacey, don't get us kicked out. She's like, no, I want you to feel comfortable. I want you to feel like this. I want you to feel like that. So I really appreciated that. I don't know if I like ever expressed that to you.
Not a problem.
I was really telling Caleb, I'm like, Stacey's gonna get them. Like. So for the next question, somebody asked, what was the worst and the best experience being a doula?
The worst experience being a doula is always having to walk around with your certifications, just your paperwork, just to show these hospitals who you are. Because 9 out of 10 times, some hospitals support doulas, the others don't. So having that extra 5 minute to 10 minute or however long they decide to take interaction is delaying you from being with your client, with the mom. And during those minutes of you guys being apart, you don't know what she's going through. She might be feeling unsafe, panicking, but I would never know because they're not letting me in until they go ahead and clear me. So that would have to be the worst part. As far as the best part, you're welcoming new babies with doctors and wives. And you know, you're building relationships with your clients, and you don't look at them as clients, you look at them more as like friends, that you made sure that they were safe, that they're not another statistic, because we all know about death mortality when it comes down to childbirth, especially African Americans. So just being able to be a part of that change and the future that we want for each other, especially as African American women, I think that's the best part of being a doula.
Somebody asks advice on how to do a full-time job and part-time doula. So you do work and you do doula. You are a doula part-time.
Yeah, so I do work full-time and I'm also a doula. So the way it works is I make sure I prioritize my clients as far as making sure that they're taken care of on my free time, whether I'm using my lunch break, whether I'm communicating with them after hours. Being a doula is not a 9 to 5. It's actually 24/7. So if I know my client isn't available till 9 p.m., that's going to be the time we speak. If I know she's up at midnight, 1 a.m. and I'm up, we're going to talk then. So that's the way I kind of balance it out. And then if I am at work, I do communicate that with my clients, make them aware of what I'm doing or where I'm at with my location. And then I also make sure I communicate with my job to a certain extent to let them know that once my client reaches a certain amount of weeks, I am on call 24/7. So at any moment I can walk out of here. But I communicate in advance to both my client and my employer to make sure that we're all on the same page.
But are they sometimes like kind of sheepish when it comes to like...
Oh, definitely. I work for the government. So working for the government, they think, no, you're working for me, I need all your time. But then you have to make them aware that I'm more than just this job. And the beauty of being a doula is you can always just quit your job and do doula full time. That's another form of income, so you're not ever worrying about where's my next meal going to come from and things in that nature. So it's just good to have a natural good rapport with whoever you work with. So
okay, that makes sense. And this person asks how to do doula work full time. I'm not sure if that's the same thing.
Oh, well, full time would be communicating, networking. So networking in the sense of normally you can go to retreats and all of these other conventions for doulas nationwide as well as worldwide, but due to COVID that didn't happen this year. But that's a way of networking. You can network through social media. You can go ahead and watch YouTube videos and see like who's giving birth in your area, things in that nature. You can personally reach out to them, so that way you can inform them what a doula is, whether they're interested or not. That's another way of networking. And a little side note to that, that's how I became Alex's doula. I saw her pregnancy video.
Oh yeah.
And
you reached out to
I reached out to her. That's a form of networking. And then of course, as the client, they're going to do their research on their own, reach out to whoever they want to reach out to. And then the rest was history.
Wow, that's so crazy.
Right?
The next question is recommendations on who to do training with.
Okay, as far as doing trainings, viewers' discretion is advised. Use your own discretion if you want. But I trained with Dona International. And the reason why I chose Dona is because as of right now, Dona is the only company that is nationwide and worldwide. So that means if I'm certified and I got certified in America and I meet someone in Bali and she wants a doula, because I would be Dona certified, I can go ahead and be her doula, even though it's in a different country. Why? Because I'm in that same network, I'm still in that same community, and this community is worldwide. So that's the main reason why I chose Dona. But there are other smaller branches that you can also choose from. But regardless of whichever one you choose from, I do recommend doing your research because you are making an investment.
Wow, I'm learning so much. Books to read that help with doula training.
There are multiple books that you can read. You can pick up the general doula one-on-one training books. With Dona specifically, they provide you with the booklets and the workshop and worksheets that you should be referring to and reading. And those go in depth as far as networking, social media. Yes, we're networking on social media, but the do's and don'ts for both you and your client. And then another major book that I definitely would recommend is the book called The Gift of Motherhood. It's a soft copy book. It's like a thick chapter book, but honestly it's so much helpful information in there. You're bound to learn something. And then the more you talk to other people in the field, the more they can recommend books from their own personal preference.
There's really so much that goes into doulaism. Is that how you say it? Into being
Into
a
becoming
doula.
a doula.
I really like having Stacey as my doula. I feel like I learned so much. But like sitting here in this interview, I'm like, this is like a whole other entity. What inspired you to be a doula?
So what inspired me to be a doula was realizing that when anyone in my family gave birth, I was always so excited and so willing to help. And then now, once I realized I can help them, whether it was through massage, elevating their feet, giving them a glass of water, you name it. It could be scratch my back. I would be so excited just because I feel like I'm a part of this birth team. And then once I went away for college and my classmate was like, she just did a doula training. I'm like, what's a doula? And then once she explained it to me, I said, wow, so I've been doing this for free my whole life. So let's actually get certified and help people. And then unfortunately, with everything happening in the world nowadays, I just felt like it now couldn't have been a better time to actually pursue this investment into becoming a doula.
What is in your doula bag?
Drum roll, please. Alright, so this is my doula bag. I got this nice, cute little bag from Target. It was probably like $20,
really
$30. I don't know. Target. Alright, I'll go from the front to the back. So in the front pocket, I always have some lip gloss, some chapstick, can't walk around. I always have my charger, and this charger always stays in my doula bag, so at all times I have a charger on me. I have some type of snack until I can get some food. So
you ain't bring that for me.
I sure did. I
you
sure
ain't let
did.
me know.
Alex had crackers. She had water, and her
She got me a
famous Amos ginger ale that she had on
Oh,
mine.
you
There we go.
she
So you gotta
watching.
pay attention to what your client prefers, right?
Loved me a ginger ale when I was pregnant.
Okay. I have some headphones. Depending on labor, depending on how long it goes, mom might be resting. I can't make too much noise around her, so I can listen to my own music in these headphones during that time. And then I also have some handy dandy hand sanitizer. This does not leave the bag.
Nice, nice.
So that's the little front pocket. And I also would usually carry a speaker, but the speaker is on demand. So if mom mentions to me, like Alex mentioned, she might want to play music, I pack the speaker just in case with the charger and everything, just to be on the safe side. All right, here goes.
Wow.
A lot of stuff in here, so I'll turn it this way. So let's go to the important fundamentals. So I always have a notebook, and this notebook would be for either myself or for Alex or dad, mom, whoever in the situation needs to write something down, they can write it down. And that's just as scrap paper. And then I also have another book. This book is one of the workshop worksheets book that Donna provided when I was doing my training and certification with them. So it's actually called the Workshop Manual. And this is explaining everything I previously said. Okay, that's better. About the do's and don'ts for social media, how to market yourself and things in that nature. And it also tells me the requirements for how to get certified. And then I also carry my certifications with me, because if I don't, some hospitals or birthing centers might not allow you in because they can't just go off of word of mouth that you're a doula.
Did my birthing center ask for it?
No, because I communicate with them in the morning in advance. But I'll carry my certificates. You see the donor symbol. All right, there we go. And I have one more. Well, probably two more. But
my girl came ready. Y'all see why I chose her.
The Gift of Motherhood. This isn't the book that I was referring to that you should purchase to read. This is an actual like magazine base, but the book that I was referring to is a chapter book. And this is honestly like liquid gold. It's right next to breast milk for me. Because this is explaining every little thing. Like you can even see like random pictures of babies and everything. This is explaining what to pack in your doula bag, and like how to identify certain things with your baby, making sure your baby's okay, what to pack. It's also explaining everything Alex would show you guys in the videos of how the baby should be positioned and things in that nature. And it also gives you a very general basis about breastfeeding and how you should be latching on. And then this book, this is my prized possession. This is the book where I wrote all my notes down while I was in training. Oh, and this is also where I wrote down all of Alex's information, because I needed to make sure that everything she was telling me I was keeping tabs of, instead of always like texting her and asking her like random questions. So it's just a whole bunch.
Are these me?
No, this is me. This is me. But if Alex was to ask me something, before I tell her I don't know, I'll look in my handy dandy notebook, and I'll most likely
definitely did.
always have something to answer in here. And I would tell her, give me a second, I'm not going to just give you an answer. Let me look it up. What's your birthing plan? Things of that nature. So that's what's in that book. This, I didn't get a chance to give to Alex, but just like how I have the composition notebook, the black one, I got a pinkish bluish one, depending on the gender of the baby, and a neutral color for if mom or dad wanted to write questions down, and they wanted to keep it for souvenirs, just as far as when I was in labor, what did I want to ask, or how was I feeling, whatever the case may be. They can jot these down and keep them. So I always make sure I have a stack to replace. What else do I have in here? Now I have heavy duty pads. This is going to be for mom for after she gives birth, or prior to her giving birth, if her water breaks and she's commuting over to the birthing center or hospital so that she's not leaking. If she doesn't want to wear a diaper, we could use this. I also have massagers. This one I never really use. Most clients don't like the actual, like this is when you press battery operated. I don't know if you can hear it, but it has like
this one feels
a
intense.
vibration to it. It's really intense, and if you're in labor, you might not want that feeling on you. So that's that. And then I also have the manual massagers, and these right here, you can just actually just press it onto the body instead of like your hands get tired. And I have two in case she wants them done at the same time in different positions. because when you're in labor, you don't know what you're gonna want. And then this right here is the sack to ice pack. This ice pack is reusable. You go either hot or cold, and you just place the ice pack in this middle portion. There's like a little opening right here, and then you close it, and this is like a towel kind of thing, so you're not putting the ice pack directly on your skin. I give all my clients one, so fortunately.
So this is the one I had. Oh, okay.
So this is what Alex was using while she was in labor. She was just using the ice pack directly sometimes, like covering my eyes. Yeah, cover my eyes, put it on my head, like when you were leaning on the tub. It was like this. That was the ice pack so that your head wasn't on the direct
I thought it was a rag.
Yeah. So that's just to like keep like temperatures going in case she's cold or hot flashes happen. So we use that.
So you provided that for me.
I did.
Oh.
It was for her just in general, but it was just a bonus to just use it for the rest of.
I did not know anything that was
your
going
time.
on.
And then that's another thing as a doula, you always have to make sure you're paying attention to the background. I have two little cute fans, girl and boy theme.
I remember that.
This was the fan Alex was using.
It was that
just like,
one?
yep.
Aww. This is so nostalgic.
So it'll be like this, and she's hot right now. So
my legs are sweating.
And then let's say dad wants some fan too, but he don't want the girl one. We got a blue one for baby boy and for dad, because we definitely fan dad too. I have lip balm in here as well. And I always have to make sure that it's unmedicated, because you never know anyone's allergic reactions or allergies. And especially like if they're giving birth, some people don't like chapped lips. They might just get chapped lips. So to make sure that they're always stylish, I always make sure I get these lip balms and I just give it to them once it's open, and they just keep it. I got some backup batteries, and this is for that massager if it was to ever like die while it's out there. Lastly, as far as what's for my client, I have a rag. This rag, I just wash it every time I'm about to go, and when I first purchased it, just in case they want like to dry themselves off, or they just want like a hot or cold rag in the moment if the ice pack isn't ready or it's being used elsewhere. So that's that. And then for myself, I keep it in a bag separately, but I just bring a change of clothes to make sure I'm comfortable, because you never know how long labor is. So that way I'm not uncomfortable. I just bring some pants, a shirt, toiletries, like, you know, regular toiletries, things to shower with that I won't show on camera, and things in that nature. And that's what's in my doula bag. Aside from that, I do bring snacks, but I try to bring those as fresh as possible, so I get that once I know we're on a 2-week on-call period. So that's what's in my bag.
Wow. So I was preparing for baby, and so was Stacey. I guess I was Stacey's baby. She was just, you know, had her bag ready for me. That is so sweet. Thanks, Stacey.
Not a problem.
Can I get those?
What's something you know now that you wish you knew at the beginning of your doula work?
So something I know now would be to have patience, and to understand that every birth experience is not going to be like what they teach you. It's not going to be like in the book, and to treat every experience unique, and don't try to do what works for one mom for your second mom, because it might not. So just being open to change.
Have you ever been a part of a Lotus birth?
So I haven't been a part of a Lotus birth. However, I've like heard from other doulas.
Wait, what is a Lotus birth?
So a Lotus birth is pretty much like a home birth, like how it is the birthing center at your home with a midwife. And the main difference between what we would consider a normal regular birth and a Lotus birth is that the placenta stays attached to the baby until it either falls off. Like, you know how some people put like herbs and like spices and seasonings on them? Yes. It's like that, right? And
oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's like that. And then sometimes they just wait until the umbilical cord stops pulsating, and like you don't see it moving, because that's the baby's stream of life while they're inside. So once they see that once the heart rate stops from the umbilical cord, they then detach it. But then others naturally just like to literally carry it along until it falls off 100% naturally, like it'll dry up.
So is that like a phenomenon, or is that something that I could have done, was have a Lotus birth?
If you wanted to have a Lotus birth, that's probably something you could have done, especially at the birthing center, where they're not going to give you a hard time to keep the placenta, unlike a hospital that they're going to...
You know, we actually went back for my placenta, because remember we told them that we wanted to keep it, then we left it, and then, this sounds mad weird, we went back for her 2-day like checkup, and they were like, oh, we still have your placenta, it's in the fridge, and we took it home, but we didn't do anything with it, because we had it out all day, but yeah. And
that's another benefit of doing things at birthing center or a home birth. They're not going to fight you to keep your own body parts. This came out of you. Unlike a hospital, unfortunately, they might lose your placenta, especially as an African-American woman, or they might try to give you trouble or charge you for it, even though it's yours. So that's how I'm happy Alex was able to get it, and they even reminded her about it.
Yeah.
2 days later.
And one main thing I want to say before we go to the last question is what made me even want to keep my placenta was the fact that I have all these like baby apps that like keep you updated with what the baby's doing weekly, and those apps would email me, like when I tell you I'm not being dramatic, like 5 times a week, like, have you done cord blood bank, do cord blood banking, that's what it's called, right? Blood whatever. And I guess it's like when they take the placenta and they do like all that STEM research and stuff like that. And I just feel like, why are you fiending for my placenta and like the cord and stuff like that? I just thought it was so weird. I thought it was like some type of like underlying secret society. And yeah, I already know how I feel about being a black woman giving birth and stuff like that. So I was just like, I want my placenta, even if I'm going to be the one to discard of it myself. I know you're supposed to do like biohazard, but plenty of other things go in the garbage can, so whatever. But yeah, so that's why I decided to keep my placenta, because I don't know what they're gonna do with it.
And that's exactly what happens in the hospitals, where your placenta goes missing or it's lost or you can't have it for whatever the reason is. It's to do research, it's to do these things because African Americans naturally have more vitamins, minerals, nutrients, you name it, anything good that the human body needs, we have more of it than the actual Caucasian person would, unfortunately. So if they know one person is lacking but there's someone else about to give birth, oh, we could use a placenta for XYZ. And sometimes they do it without telling you, and technically, yes, that's illegal, you shouldn't be doing that, but what can you really do if you're in a hospital? You're just trying to heal and go home,
right,
and survive at this point.
And that's kind of how it was at the birthing center too. Like we just stated, there's a whole bunch of things that we didn't do in the moment because you just gave birth. You're not thinking about all these other little things. But so I need a doula to be there to say no, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that, and stuff like that. Last question is regarding the care of the mother and baby during delivery. What are the differences and similarities between a doula at a birthing center, a nurse in the LDR? What is LDR?
So that's like the labor and delivery department.
Okay. Unit at a hospital, and a midwife.
Okay. Well, the main difference is doulas are not clinical, meaning even if I studied medicine or I have a science background, I cannot call any shots for my client. So I can't tell the doctor Alex needs X, Y, and Z done. So it's more so of working as a team. So when you're at a birthing center, the midwife is going to be there. She's going to check up on you, and she's going to make sure she's checking, make sure you're dilated the same way as a hospital, communicate with you if anything happens or if anything is wrong or anything goes left. That's what the midwife is going to do. She's going to go ahead and go to plan B. And if it's not something that can get fixed, she'll send you to the hospital. Now, once you get to the hospital, the doula is going to be there from the birthing center, the hospital, wherever you are, the doula is right next to you. And then once you get to the hospital, the L&D nurse in that department, she would check up on you, do your vitals, do everything that the midwife would do, but this time she's just going to monitor you more closely. And just like a hospital with any other department, they have multiple patients on the same floor that they're responsible for, so they'll check in with you as much as they can, but you can't expect them to be like by your side the whole entire way. So that's where the doula comes in, and we're monitoring things. We're making sure, like, if you're in labor and you're having contractions, we're monitoring how long your contractions are going, the sounds you're making, the different positions you go in when you make those sounds, because that can also help indicate when you're ready to push. And as a doula, I'm writing everything down. I'm using my phone. I'm not bothering Alex for, let me get some paper to do this, because when the midwife, the nurse, or the doctor comes in, I need to be able to report to them as if like I'm the person in charge in that moment, to update them, to make them aware of it. So that's the big difference. But nonetheless, we're all working as a team.
Well, there we have it, guys. That was a very, very great interview, shall I say. Stacey answered everything. As always, knocks the ball right out the park. So y'all got a little hint of that first phone call I gave her.
Ready? Okay.
So again, Stacey, I want to thank you for everything, from the first time we spoke, for being there from I was, what, 27 weeks, and now. Thank you for coming and answering all these questions. Just thank you for everything.
No problem. I'm excited to be your doula, because especially if it's your first baby, you want to make sure like people know what to expect, what not to accept, and things are just, you know, why not have somebody, and especially if you're in good hands from the beginning, you now know what not to accept and what not to tolerate. So I'm excited, and you have a beautiful baby girl.
Thank you. But that'll be it for this interview. Stacey, do you have anything else you would like to say to the people?
As far as what I have to say, thank you guys. I know you guys had a lot of questions. I hope I was able to answer them. If you guys do not like the answer I gave on this YouTube and you want more in depth, feel free to reach out to me. I'll give Alex my email and my Instagram name. She can put it in her bio. Other than that, thank you guys, and if you're looking for a doula, welcome aboard.
I'm willing to give her to you guys. That'll be it for this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye. Oh, you got that, John.